Peace and blessing. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Love and light. It's your brother, Omni Amanashi, also known as Omni Omnis. We in the building. We in the house. And tonight is another bill. Alright? You already know this is courtesy of OmniVision EDU. Alright? Scientific and historical literacy for indigenous people. Alright? So we got a bill. Tonight's bill is about, the title is, what is it? Henrietta's Lacks Revenge. The Immortal Cell Line. The Immortal Cell Line. Henrietta Lacks Revenge, family. Okay? So we're going to be talking about genetics. Alright? We're going to be talking about identity from the scientific lens. Alright? I understand we got a few people in the building, love and light. I see brother Chucky. I see. Peace. We in the house. Alright? We're going to be talking about genetics, you know, the biology of who we are, and, you know, a little bit of science, a little bit of fun facts. I love information, family, and using it as a tool to, you know, push my people, you know, forward, or something that my people can use to move forward, okay? So today's bill is the origins of the immortal Hella cell line, okay? It's a cell biology study timeline, okay? So, I don't know if you guys have seen. So before I get going, family, let me share the Cash App information. My joint for donations for black education for OmniVision EDU, and what we're doing is www.cashapp.com/OmniVision, which is capital OMNIVISION EDU 360. Okay, make the Cash App whatever you feel that you want to donate for the time and energy, family. Okay, but we're going to be building for scientific and historical literacy. Okay, so let's get into it. Trying to wait for a few people to get in the building though before we really get rolling. Give the people a chance. But yeah, genetics, DNA, they can tell you a lot about who we are, family. Okay? And we got to build about that. Move the camera a little bit. Alright. We in the building. Peace and blessings, cuz I see. Love and light, God. Y'all ready? Make sure y'all hit up that Cash App, family. www.cashapp.com $OmniVision EDU 360. Okay? $, all capital OMNIVISION EDU 360. Okay? And I'm going to be bringing you more scientific and historical literacy every week. Alright? So, Henrietta Lacks is an African American woman, okay, who was diagnosed with cervix cancer, alright, in the 1950s. And somehow her situation turned into the modern medical industry using her DNA and her cells for medical research, alright? And this medical research is in regards to, you know, diseases, immunity, you know, different technologies, even for like spaceships and rockets and stuff like that. Because the cells are electromagnetic fuel cells, okay? And they call it the powerhouse of the cell, or mitochondrion. And the mitochondrion are electromagnetic fuel cells that are passed down from the mother to the offspring, from the XX chromosome, which is female. All right? So in this story, Henrietta Lacks, which is a 31-year-old black woman, okay, from America, she comes down with cervix cancer, all right, and from this situation, the doctors say that her cells function differently, okay, from other cells that they seen. So they emphasized on the structure and the function, and what they find is that outside of the body, the cells did not die off. So most cells would die after a certain amount of time, okay? But the cells from Henrietta Lacks, once outside of the body, did not die off. So I guess that's what makes it so interesting. So her cells behave differently, all right? So, and this is a black woman, okay? A black woman. She's not the most melanated, a brown-skinned black woman from America, and she has these special cells that these Europeans are so obsessed about and so intrigued about, family, okay? So, now there's this movie that I just seen the other day. You got to go check it out, family. It's called, what is it? It's called The Power Project, and it's starring Jamie Foxx. You know what I'm saying? So it's about a former soldier who teams up with a cop, right? And they trying to find the source behind a dangerous pill that provides supernatural abilities, all right? Now, the technology behind the pill derives from the genes of a black woman in the movie, all right? Just like the Henrietta Lacks, which is based on a true story. But it was another joint that I just seen the other day that was similar concept to that. So the genes of the black woman are special, okay? So we gotta uplift our black women because that's what we supposed to do. But you know, it's just about the unity, family, umoja, and the science too. Not even just trying to do that because we're black and it's favoring us. We're trying to understand the science behind how things work. Okay. So now, by new science, scientist.com, it says if you trace back the DNA in the maternally inherited mitochondria within our cells, all humans have a theoretical common ancestor. All right? As a result, all humans today can trace their mitochondrial DNA back to her within her DNA and that of her peers, existing almost all the genetic variation we see in contemporary humans. Okay? October 8, 2014. That's by newscientist.com. Okay, there was an article that was published. And they're saying that humans in general, all ethnicities, descend from a common ancestor. All right? Even though we look different, we got different traits. They're saying that all humans can be traced back to a common ancestor. Who is that common ancestor, family? All right? Now, according to what I know, in the ABO blood group study, right, in cell biology, also the RH study, we know that you have RH negative humans and you have RH positive humans. All right? RH negative humans are humans who do not possess the RH genetic marker. RH is an acronym for rhesus, and a rhesus is a word used or a term used for the rhesus macaque monkey, which is a species of primate indigenous to the geographical location of Eurasia, between Asia and Europe, all right? The same region what Europeans descend from, all right? So we got to understand that the genetic studies is based on original and non-original humans, okay? So you have RH negative, people who don't have the monkey DNA marker, and then you have RH positive, people who do have the monkey DNA marker. Alright? So that's the difference, family. So when we get into these genetic studies and we talking about protein and what's good for the body and you know, generalizing health standard, we got to understand that we're biologically different. Alright? So now we see that males and females, alright, have two sex chromosomes. mitochondria are female sexual reproductive cells, all right, expressed as XX chromosomes. Now, in males, is expressed as XY chromosomes, all right? And the chromosome is genetic material that's found within nucleic acid, all right? So it's the genetic information within your DNA, all right? So these chromosomes are expressed as XX female and XX and XY, which is male. XX female, XY, which is male, all right? Now, XY contains 1/4 less the genetic information than XX, all right? Now, according to biological sciences, all living organisms begin as XX chromosomes before the development and the production of male and female hormones that cause sex organs to grow. Okay, the X chromosome is much larger and varies in the information. So also note that there is no such thing as YY chromosomes. You have XX, which is the female sexual reproductive cell, okay? That's passed down from parents to offspring. They call that mitochondria. So don't forget, family, this is about Henrietta Lacks, a black woman from America, African-American black woman who came down with cervix cancer in the 1950s. And from the studies that was conducted from Henrietta Lacks' cancer, scientists found out that there is a genetic difference, okay, between humans and different ethnic groups, all right? Now, according to Live Science, family, it says that the San people, all right, S-A-N, the San people of Southern Africa carry one of the oldest pure mtDNA lineages on Earth, family. The San people of South Africa carry one of the oldest pure mtDNA lineages on Earth, the mitochondrial DNA, okay, which traces back to the mother, the XX chromosome, which is the chromosome, the sexual reproductive cell and chromosome of the female, okay? And it possesses more genetic information than the XY, okay? So, like I said, this one right here is Live Science, okay? The San people from South Africa carry one of the oldest DNAs, all right? Now, it's published 2019, October 18th, and it's by the Nature Journal, okay? Now, by studying the genomes of more than 1,200 indigenous Africans living in southern part of the continent today, the team pieced together a history of one of the oldest DNA lineages on Earth, a collection of genes called L0. Okay, remember that, family. Take that down. It's called L0, okay, which is passed down matrilineally through mitochondria and has survived remarkably unchanged in some populations for hundreds and thousands of years, family. Okay, so this group of Africans was found to have a gene called L0, which is one of the oldest known groups possessing mitochondria. All right, and these are Africans. These are black people. All right, so keep that in mind. So Britannica, all right, it says the San, also called the pejorative Bushmen, an indigenous people of southern Africa related to the Koko or the Kokwi, if I pronounced that correctly. They live chiefly in Botswana, Namibia, and southern Angola. All right, so these are the places in which the San people live. All right, these are African people with mitochondrial DNA. The scientists say that the mitochondrial DNA traces back to the oldest human lineage on Earth, family, and these are black people. All right, peace and blessings, family. Love and light. Ashe. That's Cuddy Cuds. Blessings. We in the building. We rocking. All right, so mitochondrion is a genetic variation that's found, okay, in people of African descent, and it traces back to the oldest human DNA on Earth, family. The San people, which are Africans, are noted to have this DNA. Now it says right here, by human origins, EDU, okay, Neanderthals contributed to approximately 1 through 4% of the genomes of non-African modern humans, okay? Although a modern human who lived about 40,000 years ago has been found to have 69% Neanderthal DNA. Peace and blessings, family. Love and light. I shade. We in here. So, we about to learn, family. We about to build, man. Love and light. So, a Neanderthal family is a subspecies of archaic humans, okay? A new species of original humans, all right? That's said to have lived thousands of years ago. And they descend from Eurasia, from a land between Europe and Asia, okay? Now, these are not full humans. These are hybrids. Now, a hybrid is a crossbreed. A crossbreed is when you take two different species, or the genetics from two different species, and you put those genes together. Once you do that, you're creating a new life form that was not a part of the original design, okay? So these are called hybrids, and that's what a Neanderthal is. So you have hybrid humans, you have hybrid animals like mules and ligers, which, you know, these are hybrids too, and then you have plants as well, domesticated plant species. All right. So hybrids exist, family. They're real. All right. It's real business. It's really real. So the Neanderthal is a subhuman, okay, a subgroup of original humans. All right. Now, people of African descent are said not to possess Neanderthal DNA. It's saying that all people that are not of African descent are likely to possess Neanderthal DNA, family, meaning that they have small traces of the monkey gene, which is the Rh factor. So they would be Rh carriers, meaning they're Rh positive. Okay, so keep this in mind. We're still talking about the Henrietta Lacks situation. Remember, she's a black woman, a woman of African descent. Okay. That says by frontiers.org. Because humans and Neanderthals only had kids out of Africa, you would not find Neanderthal DNA in present-day African people. However, in the rest of the world, people have about 3% Neanderthal DNA. Okay? So, you see, they refer to Africans not having Neanderthal DNA. Now, black people is not a nationality, family, in regards to who we are. Black people, that's not who we are as a nation. Peace and blessings, family. The Samba, love and light, Ashi, we in the building. Make sure y'all don't forget to hit the Cash App, family. It's www.cashapp.com, okay, / $OmniVision EDU 360. I need to go ahead and tag it in the video. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tag it. OmniVision EDU 360. Okay. And that's # OMNIVISION EDU 360. Okay. Scientific and historical literacy for indigenous people. That's what it's all about, family. So in regards to being black, black is not a nation. Black is a term, okay, used in reference to phenotypical traits, all right? So when I say black, I'm not saying literal. I'm saying it's in reference to a dark person or a person with dark pigment. Now, the pigment that I'm speaking of is called melanin. Melanin is a biochemical pigment found present in humans, animals, and plants. But it's found in the highest concentrations in people of African descent, family. Okay? Melanin is a biochemical pigment found common in nature, all right? Found present in people of African descent. Okay? In the highest concentrations of all different ethnic groups. All right? So when I refer to black, I may refer to dark hair or 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 if I refer to melanin, I may refer to dark eyes or dark skin. Okay, these are all phenotypical characteristics and traits, okay, of African people, of the African phenotype. Now, in regards to being a person of African descent, okay, people of African descent are people such as Africans, okay, African Americans. You have Afro Latinos. You have Afro Asians who are also black. You have Afro Indians. All right. If these people have these melanin biochemical pigments, all right, in their DNA, it will be expressed as a black person. Now, the only difference in our gene, okay, we have to understand that gene and environment works hand in hand, that genes adapt to environmental influences, okay? So if you have ancestors who live most recently near the core of the planet or near the equator, then you will have more curly hair as a black person, okay? But if your ancestors live near like the ocean or the coastlines or regions where it would be more humid, okay, you have more wavy and more straight type of hair, but we're still all the same people, just living in different regions with slightly different genetic expression due to environment. All right, but we're all one people family. Now, gene type, which is genotype, according to biology, okay, genotype means gene type, and phenotype means physical type. So when I say gene type, I'm referring to genes, a type or a group of genes, and the physical type is a group or a type in reference to physical traits. Peace and blessings, brother Cartel Cartwright. I see, brother. Peace. We in the house. All right, so we have to understand when we use certain terms, family, we can be literal, but we got to make sure that the literal is in alignment with the scientific, okay? So we are black people due to the melanin, which is a biochemical pigment found in the highest concentrations in people of African descent, okay? Our hair is different. I've seen Africans with blue eyes, with blonde hair, and they're still African. African is an original human, okay? But once you get outside of the phenotypical traits of an African, you got to question that, okay? We can produce, albino, which is white of the white, blonde hair, blue eyes, all of that. Very, very, very bright, very light, very white. You know what I'm saying? And we can produce brown, we can produce light skin, we can produce jet black. But when it comes to people of European descent, they can't produce a black person. They can't produce a Hispanic. They can't produce none of that. They can only produce their own kind. So we have to understand that this is a clear example, family. A clear example of dominant versus recessive, okay? Frances Cress Wesseling, she taught about the dominant versus recessive genes in black people versus people of European descent. That their gene is recessive, okay? And, all of the time they're worried about genetic annihilation because of their genetic difference, And it's not to be racist against people or individuals. It's just about the science and the mechanics of, how things work. So this is for educational purposes only, family. It's not to take shots. Peace and blessings. Ashi, could still in the building rocking with me. So yeah, it's, this is about the science. It's not even, for nobody to catch no feelings. You know what I'm saying? We need to know the truth, family, so we can teach these babies the truth. Somebody got to do it. All right. So melanin pigments, family, are electromagnetic fuel cells. Now remember, in regards to Henrietta Lacks, they refer to the mitochondrion in her gene as the powerhouse of the cell, okay? So melanin pigments are electromagnetic fuel cells, meaning they're energy generating cells. So it has the functionality of storing energy, okay, generating energy, storing energy, and and using energy. All right. So these cells are very important for certain biological processes. All right. Now, melanin pigments are electromagnetic fuel cells, chromosomes, and tissues found in humans, animals, and plants, not just humans, much like the HeLa cells, okay? But in plants, melanin exists as chlorophyll. So that's a form of melanin. It's a biochemical pigment used for the process of photosynthesis. So if those plants did not have that green chlorophyll, it would not be able to be outside in nature and withstand the radiation of the sun, okay? So you have to have melanin in the solar system, family. Okay, so melanin is very key to life and is very important to the functionality of this planet, all right? So the Europeans who colonized us, they understand the functionality of this melanin and that we have a slight biological advantage, okay? So look, Africans, African Americans, Afro-Latino, Afro-Asian, Afro-Indian are the same genetic group existing all over the globe with slightly different expressions, family. That's all it is. I know we got different tribes and all of that, but we the same people. So Henrietta Lacks, you know what I'm saying? That's our people, family. You know what I'm saying? She one of us. Straight like that. Now look, Henrietta Lacks was an African American woman whose cancer cells are the source of the HeLa cell line. Okay? The first immortalized human cell line and one of the most important cell lines in medical research today. Even today, family. If you're wondering what a cell line is, by Oxford Dictionary, cell line is a cell culture developed from a single cell and therefore consisting of cells with a uniform. These cells are the fundamental biological units of life, okay, that makes up your bodily tissues. So we wouldn't have bodily tissues if we didn't have cells. So these cells have a certain uniform genetic makeup. So they're referring to a specific type, a specific group of cells, family. All right? When they refer to the HeLa cell line, that's why they call it the cell line. Now, HeLa cells were said to be immortal because they behave differently, all right, than the antigenic leukocyte cells. The HeLa cells are capable of existing and multiplying outside of the body in comparison to the pathogenic bacteria-based cells like leukocyte antigens. Now, think about this, family. Leukocyte antigens are foreign, toxic, pathogenic substances that exist on the surface of RBCs. So it's an accumulation of toxins and pathogens that invade cells, all right? Now, in different blood groups, you have individuals that have these leukocyte antigens, and then you have blood groups that don't have the leukocyte antigen, all right? So the Rh negative means you don't have the leukocyte antigen. The leukocyte antigen, or the Rh factor, is the leukocyte antigen. So when you understand that the cells is what produce your bodily tissues, we got to understand that white cells produce white tissues. Now, leukocyte in Greek, leuk in Greek means white, and cyte in Greek means cell. So leukocyte means white cell. And when you get into the makeup of biology, you understand that we have different groups of blood cells. We're supposed to have white blood cells, red blood cells, blood platelets, and blood plasma. Okay, the blood plasma is where your immune defense comes from. You have red blood cells, which is to process oxygen, okay, and to carry out certain biological processes and generate energy, all right? And then you have your platelets. So you have different functions. But the leukocyte antigens are white blood cells that produce white tissues. Okay, so individuals of European descent and Asian descent have a very high leukocyte antigen blood count. And you have individuals who are of African descent who may not even have any leukocyte antigens. So when they teach that and they generalize that and they teach our kids that, that's misinformation, family. Every human does not possess white blood cells, which are white leukocyte antigens. And that's the monkey gene. All right? So Henrietta Lacks was the unwitting source of the special HeLa cells. The discovery began from a tumor biopsy during a treatment for cervical cancer at the Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland, U.S. in 1951. Now, Henrietta Lacks was examined by Howard Wilbur Jones Jr., okay? A gynecological surgeon, if I pronounced that correctly, and an in vitro fertilization specialist, okay? Now, Henrietta Lacks was also examined by George Otto Gee, a cell biologist. These are the individuals who perform the surgery and the examination on our sister Henrietta Lacks, okay? They the ones, because they're sneaky, family. You got to watch them, all right? Now, it says, now the study was likely to be a normal biopsy, okay? Not necessarily a cancer biopsy, but a normal biopsy. Although Henrietta Lacks did develop cancer, all of her cells was not cancerous, family. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they took some of the cells that was of her genetic material, like, you know what I'm saying, you take the tissue from somebody, it contains genetic information, which is your genetic material, but she also had a part of her cervix that was infected by the cancer. So all of the tissue, we don't know the samples that was collected, family. So we try to understand, we try to match the structure and the functionality to, you know, to the identity, all right? So we can't just, you know, go off of anything, family. You got to make it make sense. So the mitochondrial DNA is a small circular chromosome found inside mitochondria. Now, these organelles found in cells have often been called the powerhouse of the cell family. The mitochondria, and thus mitochondrial DNA, are passed down almost exclusively from mother to offspring through the egg cell, okay, matrilineally. The egg cell, also known as the ovum cell, is a female sexual reproductive cell, much like sperm cells in males, all right? The only thing is that it has a different functionality. But women also have sexual reproductive cells that's called ovum cells, okay? And this is how the mitochondrion is usually passed down, but it also can be passed down through males as well, okay? It's just less common in Rh positive blood groups. Like I said, we have a polar different biology or biological makeup. So genes are, so DNA family. DNA, aka mitochondrial Eve gene, are specialized chromosomes, a thread-like structure found within the nucleus, all right, of most living cells, carrying information in the form of genes. Now, genes are hereditary biological units passed down from the parents to the offspring. And now, this is what determines the characteristics and the traits of living organisms. All right. So if your parent is a Rh carrier, you're going to be a Rh carrier. All right. That's how it works. If your parent is not a Rh carrier, then you're not going to have the characteristics and the traits of a Rh carrier. All right. Now, mitochondrial chromosomes are solar photovoltaic cells. All right. Mitochondrial chromosomes are solar photovoltaic cells used for energy generation by the process of photosynthesis, also known as the powerhouse of the cell, right? These are energy generating cells, and they're known for storing electric charge, family. So just like cell phones, just like different devices of technology today, you need to charge your phone. You got to charge your battery. You got to have energy. You run out of energy, you got to restore your energy. You got to recharge up. You feel me? So it works like that in this solar system. We need the electric charge from the sun, okay? And we have cells that work like solar panels, all right? Our melanin functions like solar panels. They store electric charge from the sun through the process of photosynthesis. And throughout, so once the sun sets, these devices can use energy, free energy, stored from the sun throughout the day, family. All right? So our cells have a very similar structure and function to the solar cells, through the solar panels. They call them photovoltaic cells. All right? And it's used for generating and storing electric charge. All right? That's what the melanin is for, family. Peace and blessings. I see. So according to Biomedical Odyssey, work on mitochondria did not stop in the 1950s after it was named the powerhouse of the cell. Okay? Subsequent studies throughout the rest of the 20th century identified the mitochondrion as an incredibly dynamic organelle involved in multiple cellular processes in addition to energy production. Okay, by Biomedical Odyssey. So you see they spoke in reference of the cells having multiple cellular processes. Okay, and it's also made for energy production. That's why you see brothers like Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? Brothers that's gifted and talented and can do explosive things because of their genetic information, family. They have the mitochondrion DNA, which are energy generating and storing cells, and functions sort of like a solar panel, family. All right, so we're getting to know who we are on the scientific scale, from the scientific lens. All right. So the popular term, family, powerhouse of the cell, was coined by Philip Sekovitz in 1957. All right, in 1967, it was discovered that mitochondria contain ribosomes. All right, and that was by Wikipedia. The popular term powerhouse of the cell was coined by Philip Sekovitz in 1957. Peace and blessings, Auntie, love and light, Leela Harris, Ashi. It's the fam in the building. We just building, family. Just doing a little bit of education. Trying to uplift our people. That's all. That's what it's about, family. So listen. In regards to Henrietta Lacks and the mitochondrial DNA, it was discovered in the 1960s by Margaret M.K. Nass and Sylvan Nass by electron microscopy. Okay, and DNA-sensitive threads inside mitochondria, and by Ellen Hansberger and Hans Tuppy and Gottfried Schatz by the biochemical assay on highly purified mitochondrial fractions. Okay, so it was discovered in the 1960s by these European individuals. Okay, that's why we need more black scientists. We need more black historians and scholars, because if how can we find out who we are? How can we find out what's right and what's wrong if we have conflict of interest, family? We need people of African descent in higher places, family. All right? So these Europeans, they discovered these things, all right? Right around the same time, black people was fighting for their civil rights, all right? So listen, in 1958 through 1962, the discovery of human leukocyte antigens was made by Jean Dusset and others, okay? That's the name given, Jean Dusset, through 1958 to 1962. Remember, Henrietta Lacks ran into the situation with cancer in 1951. Okay, this is 1958 through 1962. In 1959 through 1962, the discovery of antibody structure, independently elucidated by Gerald Eldman and Rodney Porter in 1959. And we know that the antibodies are what they give you when you go to the hospital, but it's the natural kind. The antibodies are naturally God-given antibiotics that defends your immune system, that defends your body against foreign objects and substances, okay? And it's located within your blood plasma. That's why when a lot of black folks go to donate blood, okay, to these centers, you see them on the south side of town. You see them in certain areas that's by the hood. You feel me? A lot of people of African descent that's going there because they need the change. They need the bread. You feel me? But you don't see too many other ethnicities in that donate blood. You see black people. All right? Because black people have the plasma-rich antibodies. These antibodies was discovered around that same time, family. All right? Now, by sciencelearning.com, mitochondria are tiny organelles inside cells that are involved in releasing energy from food. Okay? Tiny organelles, which are organs of the cell. Cells are living beings, living entities like humans. Okay? And they have organs. They call them organelles. And they exist inside the cell and are involved in releasing energy from food. So they have a job to do like humans. We got to work. You know what I'm saying? We got to do certain things to provide, to make sure we good, to make sure we straight. And this process is known as cellular respiration. All right? It is for this reason that mitochondria are often referred to as the powerhouse of the cell. Cellular respiration is that process, okay, that generates energy. All right? Now, from genome.gov, an organelle is a subcellular structure that has one or more specific jobs to perform in the cell, much like an organ does in the body. Among the more important cell organelles are the nuclei, which store genetic information, mitochondria, which produce chemical energy, okay, and ribosomes, which assemble proteins. Now, solar cells, like I said, are photovoltaic cells. Now, that's the difference from the Rh negative and the Rh positive, is that we have a solar semiconductor biological functioning, okay? Because we're like plants. We absorb sunlight, we store sunlight, we transmit radiation, okay? And that's not the case for everybody, family. Now, according to the American Cancer Society, okay, every 60 seconds, about 2 people are diagnosed with skin cancer, family. About every 60 seconds. So you have to understand that everybody doesn't have the same functionality of being in the sun. Peace and blessings. DeWine Clark, I show you, brother. Love and light. Peace. We in the house. Everybody don't have that same functioning and structure, family. Everybody don't, you know what I'm saying? Black people, we go outside, we don't worry about no sunburn. We don't put on sunscreen, and we ain't worried about that. Because, you know, we naturally are at harmony with nature and with the universe, family. So we have different biological makeups. So while these Europeans were investigating and doing examinations on black people, they're racist, okay? Now, every white person is not racist, but these colonial institutions have a certain agenda, family, all right? So you got to understand that. So these scientists, let me see, are making all of this money, okay, multi-trillion-dollar industry in medicine, drugs. All of that was established and founded off of these studies, okay, in around the 1950s, the early 1950s, with Henrietta Lacks, when they discovered the difference in the functionality of the Rh negative and the Rh positive. And I believe if you watch the movie, the Henrietta Lacks movie, they actually referred to the Rh study in the movie. And me and my queen was watching it the other day. You know what I'm saying? I was thrown off by that. Like, wow, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? They trying to tell us something, family. I'm telling you. Yeah, damn right. You already know, God. Children of the sun, the light. You already know. That's they. You know, that's the thing, man. It's like, you know, they like, yo, they nobody motherfucker not trying to come for your head for no reason. Like, a lot of the times when it's envy and jealousy and stuff, like, it's because you have something that the other person wants for themselves, family. All right, it's nothing that we've done to these people. Okay, indigenous people was on the land first, and then here come these people like zombies coming out of nowhere, and they not civilized. They don't know how to act right. You know what I'm saying? And so you get a lot of war, a lot of a lot of friction in between different nations for that, man. So anyway, it's sad to say it, but it's kind of like still kind of going through race wars and shit. Yeah, for real, shit, wow. They ain't trying to let us live, man, because they already know if they let us function and they just let us be, we're going to thrive. We're going, you know what I'm saying? We're going to turn from a caterpillar to a butterfly. They already know that. So listen. All right, cell biology, family. So we talked about the solar cells, a photovoltaic cell, right, which is an electric device, okay, or biological organism that converts the energy of light directly into electricity by the photovoltaic effect. Okay, take down the terminology, family, so you can research this for yourself when I'm not around, and drop the science on whoever. You feel me? Because these are the fun facts. That's how we roll in, family. Okay, and this is a physical and chemical phenomenon, the photovoltaic effect. Now, cell biology, also known as cellular biology or cytology, is a branch of biology studying the structure and the function of the cell. Okay, cells are living beings. Okay, they have identities like people. All right, we can't just mix up the identity of different people. We got to understand the characteristics and traits and make sure they match up with the identity of the cell. All right, so we don't be confused. This is why I do independent research, family. We're going to make sure we get the fun facts to you. Again, if you're in the house, don't forget to hit the Cash App, family. It's www.cashapp.com, capital OMNIVISION EDU 360, family. Scientific and historical literacy for indigenous people, all right? And we're reclaiming our independence, all right, for indigenous people. We're reclaiming our educational system and our independence in the way that we want to function as a nation. We will no longer be deceived or be lied to, family, all right? It's 2020, and if you don't know better, you know what I'm saying, that's on you. But once you know better, you got to do better too at the same time. Sheba Ma'at, Aries, peace and blessings, Queen. Ashe, love and light. I normally get along with Aries too. Shout out to the Aries in the building. Ashe, peace and blessings, Queen. Love and light. Ashe, Robin Lee, peace, Queen. We in the building, man. So we building about Henrietta Lacks, and the story that was put out, and how these individuals benefited off of Henrietta. All right, they discovered these specialized group of cells that was the foundation of modern medicine and pharmaceutical drugs. They also used these cells as the blueprint to jet propulsion and rocket technologies. Okay, to go into outer space. These cells are energy generating cells, but it was discovered from studying the biology of a melanated woman, family. Okay, that's really the point of this build. But we're gonna we're gonna go through a few more fun facts. All right, and we gotta understand, okay, the difference between the Rh negative and the Rh positive. Okay, now according to physics, just to break it down, the mechanics, okay, the atoms are tiny small charged particles, okay, they combine to make chains of molecules. The molecules combine to form elements. The elements form chemical compounds. The compounds form the cell, and the cell is what forms into the tissues of the body, okay? The tissues of the body combine to form organs, all right, and organ systems. And that's what comprises multi-trillion cellular living organisms, all right? So it's a mechanical process, family. So we got to understand that our biology has a set chemistry. That's called biochemistry, okay? The branch of science that's concerned with the chemical and physiochemical properties that occur within living organisms, family. Yeah, I shade, peace queen, I shade to the brother, DeWine Clark. You seen the movie? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, brother, yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot to it, man. Like, a lot of the times they be saying it's a lot deeper than, you know, than what it seems, than what meets the eye, family. So look, The Mortal Cell Line by Henrietta Lacks, a black woman, mitochondrial DNA. Her DNA traces back to the most common ancestor, all right, between the Rh negative and the Rh positive. As I said, the Rh negative are individuals who are absent of the animal DNA biological marker, okay? So that means they do not have any genetic ties to Neanderthals. But if you're Rh positive, then you possess genetic ties to Neanderthals, which are a group of subhumans, all right, a crossbreed species, all right, and that's not to throw any shade. That's the science. Rh negative, Rh positive. So when we talking about biology and the standard for humans, what's healthy, what's not healthy, we got to understand there's a difference between Rh negative and Rh positive, family. All right? The original humans, we say black man is the original man, is Rh negative. All right? I see, queen. I see. Right. Right. We have the most ancient DNA, family, on the planet because we are the original group of humans. All right? We spread out over the globe, okay, but we are the same species. And technically, do you one better? If you are a black person, your blood group is of a set typing, okay? All species who have the same or similar genes, okay, are the same kind, all right? If you have the same or similar genes, you're the same species. So that's why we have different blood groups. Your blood group is based on your biochemistry, your genetic coding, okay? Now, in the blood group study, the O blood type can donate to each other. The O negative can donate to the O positive. O positive can donate to the O negative. Okay, negative does not mean Rh negative. Positive does not mean Rh positive. All right? The Rh factor is determined by the A antigen. If you have A blood, that's A antigen. If you have B blood, that's B antigen. If you have A and B, you have A and B antigen. Okay? Don't get that confused. A lot of people get that confused, the negative and the positive. All right? That's based on the antigen. If you have the A, the B, or the AB, those are mutant subgroups. All right? Scientifically. Now, the Hella cell line, okay, was named after the two letters in Lack's name. At first, the Hella cell line was said to be named after Helen Lane, which is not even a person, okay? Helen Larson. I looked up these individuals. No, nothing, okay? They don't exist. Lax was not credited as the origins of the cell line until her real name leaked in the public in the 1970s. Okay, so it occurred in 1951, and her family was not even notified until 1974, family. All right. So that was 24 years later that these individuals finally communicated with her family and let them know what was up. You know what I'm saying? The lady had children and everything. But yeah, man, they sneaking, man. You gotta watch them. So yeah, they use her DNA, family. Yeah, they doing all type of stuff, man. Just like a virus. The longer the virus stay on your computer, the worse it is. That shit crazy. But yeah, so let me see. All right. So look. Now look, the HeLa is an immortal cell line used in scientific research, family. It is the oldest and most commonly used human cell line to this day. All right. Now the line is said to be derived from cervical cancer cells taken on February 8th, 1951, from Henrietta Lacks, a 31-year-old African American mother of 5, okay, who died of cancer on October 4th, family. All right. Now I disagree with the cells being extracted from Henrietta Lacks, saying that they were cancerous cells, because they most definitely could have took cells that were not contaminated, considering her whole body is not made of cancerous cells. Like, this cancerous cells are invader cells that contaminate other cells that are normal and cause them to be abnormal. So that's the whole logic behind it. So I disagree with the cells extracted being those cancerous cells. Instead, were the cells of normal cervix tissue containing her own DNA. Okay? Now remember, the cancerous cells are infectious agents of disease that invade the body, ultimately causing death and disease. All right? Now, so we understand that even in cancer, is a whole process of invasion, of contamination. You got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, to stage 4. You don't just get stage 4 out of nowhere. It's a whole process of, of development. And so, just trying to understand the story, and I think I know how she got the cancer too. Now, back in them times, I know the old head. I know my grandpops. He used to use baby powder. You know what I'm saying? And it's supposed to have I think it's supposed to have another element called radium 223. But anyway, it's associated as a carcinogen, right? And it causes cancer. And my grandfather, who was a good man, you know what I'm saying? Love him, you know what I'm saying? R-I-H to the king, to the God. Love you know what I'm saying? But he was he was big on the baby powder. You know what I'm saying? He actually came down with prostate cancer. You feel me? And back in those days, women used it too, like men and women used it, but it had a carcinogen, a cancerous agent in it, and a lot of people was coming up with prostate cancer and, you know what I'm saying, cervix cancer and stuff like that, because we're using products that are not for Rh negative. If you're Rh negative, you're an original human. All right. If you're an original human, you have organic biochemistry or organic biology. So that means you have to eat things that are natural. You can't participate in genetically modified organisms, okay? And that's just kind of how that works. But people didn't know that. That's the thing. It's messed up, because if you don't know, how you gonna do something about it? The first step is knowing. Once you know, then you can do something about it. But back in those days, black people had no clue. We got more access to the internet, and you know what I'm saying. We can get access to information. You know what I'm saying? Just like that, in an instant. But back in those times, family, they didn't have that. So it was a lot of, black people was fighting for their civil rights during that time. You know what I'm saying? So it was racial tension, segregation, Jim Crow laws, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I heard that John Hopkins Hospital wasn't even the best hospital for black people. I heard it was like, kind of racist from what I heard. So let me see. Yep. All black people, or all people that are of African descent, have one single blood grouping, which is O, okay, original. If you have the cells, chromosomes, and tissues that are associated with non-leukocytes, okay, because you have the antigens and the antibodies. You have pure antibodies and Rh negative, and then you have the antigens and the Rh positive. When you're Rh positive, you have certain traits, okay? Keratin production, which is a biochemical compound commonly found in animals. And when people of Rh positive descent or Rh positive carriers, when they take showers, I've even heard from people that's close with, people of Rh positive descent, they have a animalistic smell of fragrance that comes from being wet. It's like when dogs get wet. They have pheromones, okay, that are released into the air that come from keratin production. Another thing, lice. People of African descent, it's not common to have lice, okay? Lice are internal parasites that come from the antigen. Remember, the antigen is a parasite, okay? So is a reason why people of African descent are not commonly associated with hair lice. So certain traits that come with being Rh positive, and we can tell who is who and who's not. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that hard, family. You just gotta line the characteristics and the traits up with the right identity, and then we know who is who. But according to biology, genotype, phenotype, transcription, which is the sum of gene expression, meaning that genes can be physically observed, okay, and seen and observed. So we can see blood type, okay, because it's your gene type that transcribes into your physical and observable traits. All right. So we got to understand that. Don't let them make you think that you can have a person that's white and black and be one blood and be one genetic group, because they look different. They have a different ingredient. They have a different biological makeup. Just like in culinary, it's certain ingredients that's responsible for producing certain results. All right, so we got to understand how that works, family. Exactly, facts. Yeah, so it's certain ways that you can tell, family, like the characteristics and the traits don't lie. Peace, family. I shade Deanna Bates in the house, in his house. I shade. Yeah, so um yeah, family. So we have a different biological makeup, a different structure, and we know that there are, due to colonialism, all right, there are political laws and regulations that are meant to guide the way that we live our lives every day. So we can't forget about that. Even when it comes to education, even when it comes to your religion, to your belief, your concept of God, remember that colonization is something that happened. It's still happening, and it never stopped, family. Until it stops, you might want to be on your P's and Q's. Don't be the little gazelle drinking by the water and everybody else then skedaddle. Don't be that guy. Alright? Because it's real out here. Peace and blessings, family. I see Deanna Bates, Cuddy Cud. The elder in the building, Alex Buckner. I see elder, love and light. Much love and light. We in the house, man. So yeah. So what y'all think about that though, man? I mean, Henrietta Lacks, her whole situation of when these scientists came into this finding of these specialized groups of cells and how they function, and they start studying them and finding how it translates into disease and immunity. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so much money was made behind that, but the family was not notified until 24 years family. That's what I'm telling you. So it's something significant behind it, because they never notified them. They never kept it 100 with them, and they benefited. You know what I'm saying? So just look at what happened. So according to www.National Cancer Institute, a cell line is cells of a single type, human, animal, or plant that have been adapted to grow continuously in a laboratory and are used in research. So remember, it's about the Hella cell line, okay? And Hella is named for Henrietta Lacks, the African American black woman, 31 years of age, who died of cervical cancer in 1951. And like I said, modern medicine benefited a lot from her DNA, from studying her DNA. And remember, she's one of us, family. So she has a similar structure and function to other black people. She wasn't even the darkest of Africans. Okay? You know, my melanin concentration is decent, but it's some brothers and sisters that's a little bit darker than me. But Henrietta Lacks, I think she was a little bit lighter than me. But her cells had a certain structure and a certain function. And it was very good at generating energy, storing energy, and it didn't die by interacting with the atmosphere like a pathogenic antigen. A pathogenic antigen, which is a microbe or a virus, okay? Things like that cannot exist outside of the body without a living host. Remember, its whole functionality is to invade a normal cell and take over the structure and the function and have it to reproduce infectious viral cells, okay? So it can't live for long without a host family. So we understand that the Henrietta Lacks cells don't fit the description of pathogenic viral cells like antigens or the Rh factor, okay? Her cells were able to live for extended periods of time outside of the body, okay? Interacting with the elements and oxygen and all of that, all right? So Henrietta Lacks, shout out to her and her family. Because this is her revenge right here, because we're going to make some sense of this. We're going to make some sense of this, family. Now, the Hella cells, okay, are immortal, meaning they will divide again, and again. Now, this performance can be explained by the expression of an overactive telomerase, okay, my bad, can be expressed. Let me go back. Hella cells are immortal, meaning they will divide again and again and again. This performance can be explained by the expression of an overactive telomerase, okay, that rebuilds telomeres, okay, after each division, preventing cellular aging and cellular senescence, all right, senescence, allowing perpetual divisions of the cells. So we see here that the Hella cells are also associated with aging, okay? Telomerase, which rebuilds telomeres. Telomeres are the end capsules of chromosomes, all right? And they regenerate, they regenerate, all right? But the shorter they get, okay, the more you age. But Henrietta Lacks, her chromosomes function in a way that they regenerated at a faster rate than other individuals, all right? Or other individuals who had Rh positive DNA, all right? So she most definitely had some special things about her, according to these European scholars, okay? Because they wouldn't let up, man. They made a lot of money off that lady, man. They really did. They should at least give her family something, family. Like, that's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, pharmaceuticals. They could have gave them people something. Now, let me see. Like I said, we talked about how viruses and pathogens and bacteria are not capable of existence and multiplying outside of the body without a living host, meaning the Hella cell is likely not to fit the criteria by description. All right? These cells were not pathogenic, meaning they couldn't have been cancerous. See, I'm saying, family, I speak the scientific language. If the cells were not pathogenic, there's no way they could have been cancerous. Okay? Pathogens are toxic foreign agents that contaminates and invades normal cells. Okay? So I understand the difference between a normal and an abnormal cell, family. Now, like I said, the telomeres acts as caps that protect the internal regions of the chromosome, and they're worn down a small amount in each round of DNA replication. They replicate over and over again every day through thermochemical energy conversion, where sunlight is converted into chemical energy to perform biological processes. So that's pretty much what's going on. It's a continuous reception and transmission of thermal energy and chemical energy through the exchange of processes, family. And you got to have melanin to go through that process successfully. All right? So, now before the discovery of the HeLa cells used in laboratories, always carried a shelf life linked to telomere shortening. Like I said, so they seen that the HeLa cells interacted differently. They functioned differently. They were able to survive extended periods of time without being inside of the body. All right? So, like they said, before the discovery of the HeLa cells used in laboratories, always carried a shelf life linked to telomere shortening. And that deals with aging. And we know for sure, family, that people, you know how they say black don't crack? People who are melanated last longer. We don't age as fast. And with the telomere shortening, we see that the HeLa cells regenerated at a faster rate. Okay? So, the faster your telomeres regenerate, the slower you age. All right? The longer it takes for your telomeres to regenerate, the faster you age. So we see even right there that lines up with people of African descent. Okay? We don't age as fast as people with low levels of melanin, or people that are not of African descent, family. Okay? So we see, not only are we studying, but we also look for examples of what we see in the study. Okay? We don't want to be just literal, but we need to see examples of that. All right? And we know in our everyday lives, when we compare different ethnic groups and different different gene groups, that people of African descent look better for longer. We don't age fast like that. You know what I'm saying? You got people, you know what I'm saying, in their middle age, you know what I'm saying, looking like they're in their 20s. You feel me? Peace and blessings. I see, love and light. My queen in the building. My loving baby, you already know. I thank everybody for tuning in, joining in, and rocking with me. Don't forget to hit the Cash App, family. It's www.cashapp.com. Okay. $ OmniVision EDU 360. All right. That's all capital. That's $ all capital OMNIVISION EDU 360. All right. Whatever you can afford to contribute to black education as far as science and historical literacy. That's what we're doing at OmniVision EDU. Okay, this is a black-owned business, and I use a lot of my time to study and to gather information that I can deliver to my people. Love and light, Queen Ashi. Yeah, man. So, you know, I'm sacrificing my time and my energy to try to contribute to the collective coexistence, all right, of the universe, family. And I got love for my people, and I'm just doing what I know that I can do to contribute. And I hope that every individual find their niche in the cycle family, because everybody is gifted, everybody is talented. You just got to extract it from yourself and attract the energies that you want to yourself. Okay? Ashe, Cam Davis in the building. Ashe, family, love and light, peace and blessings. Thank you, everybody that's in the building, that's rocking with me. All right? Now, the mortal cell line of Henrietta Lacks, also known as the Hella cells. All right? Now, we know that, like I said, in 1951, they had the Lysol feminine hygiene products. And that's around the same time that Henrietta Lacks came down with the cervical cancer. A lot of people was using that because they wanted to stay fresh. And they didn't know about chemistry. And that colonists had already got into chemistry, microbiology, all of that. And they knew the genetic difference between us and them. And that those things was poisonous to certain people. But we didn't know, We just wanted to be fresh. And, unfortunately, it harmed a lot of people. So we have to get aware, black people, of chemistry, all right? Because it's very important. Our bodies have a chemical makeup, all right? Everything that you see that's physical matter, physical material, has a chemistry, all right? It composes liquids, solids, gases. So we got to understand every substance is not of the creator. Every substance is not good for you. Some of these things are poisonous, all right? And unfortunately, like I said, our people didn't have access to the information like that back then. And so we know that in 1894, Johnson & Johnson, they introduced the baby powder. It was made of crushed talc, which is supposed to be a mineral that can be found with asbestos. Okay? Asbestos is a poisonous toxin, all right? I've seen a lot of cases with people, suing for insurance for, asbestos controls, asbestos contaminations, all right? And it's used in manufacturing industry, okay? I think I just had a family member that had a situation where their lungs was going bad, and I didn't get to fully deal with them. But hopefully we can do that soon. But I believe it could have been from some of those materials that's used on the job that the brother work at, because sometimes, like I said, those substances and those materials, family, are man-made, and man-made things are normally not good. It's normally a negative effect that comes from things that are not natural. But yeah, man, it's crazy. We gotta watch out. We gotta be careful, family, because they on that chemistry. It's like a spell. You feel me? They whipping up a potion, making a substance, and they know how it affects us energetically, because chemicals have electrical charges, family. Those electrical charges are made of energy. So, different chemicals have different energetic effects. All right. Let me see. Now, the guy George Otto Gee was also, like I said, a cell biologist who performed experiments and research on Henrietta Lacks. Okay. And it was said that he had sent samples of the Hella cells, okay, all over the world, producing in different facilities, turning out 6 trillion Hella cells a week, family. So, they really did a lot of experimentation with that DNA. The polio epidemic was at its peak in the 1950s. Hella cells, which took up, was said to replicate the virus, allowing Jonas Salk to test his vaccines. They had been used to do studies on diseases. Okay, so we had polio going on around that time. So they're studying genes, disease is going on, civil rights wars going on. All right, and it says that typical human cells have 46 chromosomes. All right, but because a scientist working with HeLa discovered a chemical that makes chromosomes visible, HeLa cells have around 80 chromosomes, family. So the standard teaching of humans having 23 chromosomes apiece is not the standard when it comes to the HeLa cells, okay, and people of African descent. HeLa cells contain 80 chromosomes, family, all right? Almost double than normal. So the chromosome is what contains the genetic information. So Henrietta Lax's DNA contain a lot of genetic information, family, more than normal. Well, what would be normal for them? You know what I'm saying? But the HeLa cells are said to be resilient, so they can travel outside the body on almost any surface. Most cell lines are said to die off, especially outside of the body, but not the HeLa cells. So there's something special about these electromagnetic fuel cells or energy generating cells, family. There's something special about it. And it says by tracking where the L0 lineage first split into the slightly different sublineages still seen in some indigenous African populations today, the researchers believe they have pinpointed precisely where the first carriers of L0 lived and thrived for thousands of years. It says, we've known for a long time that humans originated in Africa in roughly 200,000 years ago. Study author Vanessa Hayes, a geneticist at Gavin Institute of Medical Research and University of Sydney, both in Australia, said in a news conference, but what we hadn't known until this study was where exactly this homeland was. Okay, so they knew that the mitochondrial DNA traces back to original group of humans, but they said they didn't know what the homeland of the first humans was originally. Okay, now we know that Carl Landsteiner and A.S. Weiner discovered the Rh factor in the 1940s, just before the Henrietta Lacks situation in 1951. They observed that in peace and blessings. They observed that an injection of blood from a rhesus monkey into rabbits caused an antigenic reaction in the serum component of the rabbit blood due to incompatible antigens, also known as Rh incompatibility. Okay, so a rabbit is one species, a monkey is another species. You can't take the blood from the monkey and inject it into a rabbit, which has a different functionality because it's a different life form. So I don't know if those geneticists were really smart guys, but that didn't really seem like a smart plan. But anyway, it ended up harming the rabbit. Okay, they're different species, different blood types. So they call that different blood groups have different antigens. Some blood groups don't have antigens. It's based on your gene group. All right. So white blood cells, also known as leukocyte antigens, are immune defenders in Rh positive, okay, blood groups. Blood plasma, which is where antibodies are located, behaves as immune defenders in Rh negative blood groups. Considering the two groups have different biological makeups, immune structure and functionality is slightly different. Okay? Now the Rh positive have acidic metabolic processes. All right? They have an acid-based biochemistry. Okay? They lack the electrical charge of the sun. Okay? Now the Rh negative people have a radiation metabolic processes. They call that thermochemical energy conversion. All right? Now, you have acid resistance, and then you have radiation resistance. Okay? People who have an acidic-based biochemistry, they can consume more acid and be fine. all right? But individuals who have a very strong radioactive biological makeup will have more radiation resistance. Okay, so it's all based on your gene. But you have alkaline based biology, and then you have acidic based biology. Rh negative, alkaline based biology. Rh positive, acidic based biology. Okay, so all humans don't have acid based DNA. All right, so we can't allow European scholars to generalize, okay, because that puts our people at risk, and we can't allow that. All right. So now, cell respiration, family, is a biological process method of cell metabolism and sustainability. Now, the ATP adenosine triphosphate is an inorganic compound that provides energy through acidic chemical reactions rather than thermochemical reactions consistent with Rh positive biological makeups. Okay? So the cell respiration is a biological process in which cells, which are little life forms that live inside of humans, that make up humans, that provides energy through thermochemical energy conversion or acidic chemical reactions. So based on how our biology is, that will determine how our bodies will metabolize different things. So even with health and all of that, it's all based on your gene, family. So it's been a pleasure building with you brothers and you sisters. I'm about to get on up out of here. Make sure y'all hit up the social media. We got www.com. No, we got www.instagram.com. Lowercase OMINIS underscore. No underscore. www.instagram.com. Lowercase OMNIS. Okay. Lowercase OMNIS. All right. That's for the Instagram. The Twitter is www.twitter.com/ lowercase OMNIS underscore lowercase OMNIS. All right. And then we got the Facebook, which is www.facebook.com/ capital OMNIS, Omni Omnis, for almost all of them. And then we got the YouTube, which is www.youtube.com/the Nature Guide Omni Amanashi. And the Nature Guide is spelled THENATUREOMNIAMUNASE. Okay? The Nature Guide Omni Amanashi. Don't forget to hit the Cash App, family. Show me a little bit of love, all right? We're going to be building every week. All right, the Cash App is www.cashapp.com $capital OMNIVISION EDU 360. All right, so we're gonna bring more scientific and historical literacy for indigenous people, for black people, and this is a time where we are seeking independence, and we need to know who we are so we can know how we're going to move, family. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in, for rocking with me for another session. We're going to be building again later on this week. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace and blessings, love and light. Ashi.